I had to splash water on my face for this one. Do you guys ever watch this show on the Food Network called Diners, Dives, and I think it's just a try. I don't know what the last thing is, but it's with Guy Fieri, I think his last name is, and he goes around the United States to diners, and features their menu. And apparently these diners, people write into him and tell him, oh, there's this place where I live that sells the best ribs and whatnot, and he travels there and features the place on his show. Well, I love food, okay? I mean, I collect cookbooks. I have more than 100 cookbooks. And I love food photography. I cook. I bake. But this show, I mean, I just watched it and I'm still shaking inside, because whenever I watch it, I get these waves of nausea. You know that feeling you get just before you throw up, where the chills are just cascading down your back and the back of your neck, and you just know it's coming up. And I don't know, I've never been a huge meat lover, but I developed this horrible aversion to meat, and I think it has something to do with that show. After watching it, I mean, these guys, they're standing in the kitchen of this diner and they're eating a 4-inch thick meat sandwich, and this meat is cut really thinly and it's stacked 4 inches, and this guy cranks his mouth open and shoves the bread and the meat in his mouth, and and I'm just horrified by it. And all I can think of is death. Death. And they're laughing, and and like he's belching. And there's something about Guy Fieri that just, I think if he was sitting across the table from me at dinner, I would just lose it. There's something about his manner, the way he acts, the way he responds to food, and his fat fingers, and they just jam into the food, and the jams are on the freaking sandwich with its freaking thick sandwich, and he's cranking his damn mouth open, right, to shove the sandwich in, and I am horrified. I'm sitting there with a freaking box of gravel, okay, and I can't stand it, but I can't take my eyes away, and I know I'm gonna throw up. I know it. I can feel it coming, and these guys and they're laughing, and this guy, he's got a piece of processed cheese stuck to his face, and they think it's really funny. And there's something about this that, to me, and to my mind, is associated with sex. But I'm not talking about a good sex. I'm talking about the worst, most disgusting porno movie you could ever watch, and it's like these fat fingers just jamming into flesh, and this, you just imagine a 600-pound porno movie star, this guy all hairy and covered in bacon fat, and he's just laying there. Just imagine that. This is what goes through my mind when I'm watching them eating the food, and it's just like pigs, and it's like this, like a giant Italian sausage fried and rolled in here, and it's like awful, 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 awful. And there's something about it's like the worst, most vulgar porno movie you've ever seen. And it just waves of nausea just wash over me, and cold sweat, and I'm clammy, and my hands start to shake. I think I'm gonna freaking die, okay? And then I can't eat, and I don't like meat anymore because of that show. And I cannot eat for weeks. And I'd forgotten this because I hadn't watched the show for a long time. And then today I watched it again, and there was the waves of nausea washing over me again. And I remembered. And I'm not kidding when I say I can't eat after I watched this show for weeks. And my friend saw me after a few weeks and said, my collarbones were like jutting out. He said, what happened to you? Why aren't you, And I said, I've been watching Diners, Drives, and I can't eat. I don't know if anybody feels the same way I do. I imagine the concept of the show is to get you excited about food and to want to eat, right? If you see them eating the ribs, then you think, well, God, I got to have some of those ribs, and, I want a burger. But, a 12-inch burger? And you have to disconnect your jaw, dislocate your jaw to let it open to get the burger. And the meat, like the big mounds of bloody meat, and they're just in their mouths and stuck to their faces and running. It's just horrifying. When I think of, all I want to do is just go into a corner and just sit there and just rock back and forth like a freaking nut. Because I can't stand it. I can't stand thinking about it. And you get that metallic taste in your mouth, like, oh God, I know it's coming. Okay, that's my little rant about diners, dives, and whatever the hell else it's called. I think diners, dives, and drive-ins. Drive-ins doesn't make sense, but I think that's what it's called. Thanks for listening.